Hey guys, welcome back to Play Retro. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Javi, and today I'd like to introduce you guys to my brand new video series, Retro Arena. In this series, we'll put two retro handhelds of the same price category up against each other and determine once and for all which handheld is the better choice for your hard-earned dollar. Tonight on Retro Arena, we shall witness the fight of the generation. Two mature and extremely popular retro handhelds, both excellent in their own rights, will step into the ring and fight through 10 brutal rounds to see which handheld deserves a place in your collection. If you read the title of this video, you know them already. The poster childs of budget handhelds, 2023's best budget handhelds. This is Battle of the Budget Handhelds. Without further ado, let's get ready to rumble! As you can see, this event has drawn quite the crowd. We have Sonic, Yoshi, so many celebrities, Mickey Mouse, Iron Man, Charmander, we got a Ninja Turtle in the house, we got the Little Mermaid, we got Bowser, we got a dinosaur, Venom, no Spider-Man, Bulbasaur. Quite the showing. Introducing our contenders. Fighting out of the blue corner, out of Team Anbernic, sporting the classic DMG Gray, weighing in at 165 grams. We have the one, the only, RG35XX. Now, introducing its opponent, fighting out of the red corner, out of Team Miyoo, sporting the white shell with the SNES colorway, we have the one and only Miyoo Mini Plus. Now, we want to have a clean fight, so let's establish some ground rules. You'll have 10 rounds. Each round will consist of a category. If you've watched my video on the 10 pillars of a good handheld, you know those categories. Those categories are price, display, controls, audio, performance, battery life, build quality, features, software, pocketability, and ergonomics. Now you guys can touch gloves. Round one, fight. Round one, price. So the RG35XX retails for $55 US plus shipping. To me, who I live in New Jersey, they charge me about $12 for shipping. So if I bought directly from Anbernic, I'm looking at a total of $67 shipping and everything. Or if I can buy off a third-party seller. If I buy it on Amazon, it goes for about $70. So it's not that much more. You do also have other options. You can buy from AliExpress. You can buy from Go Game Geek. You can buy from eBay, whoever you want. The best thing about this handheld is you can find a lot of sales for it. You can get this on AliExpress. They have like a new user promo and you can get this as low as $40. If you get a coupon, even less. I've seen people get this for so low, like people on Reddit posting that they've got this handheld for super cheap. I'll post something on screen of a post of somebody getting this for super cheap. So now for the Miyoo Mini Plus. Miyoo Mini Plus retails for about $65 off the official Miyoo store on AliExpress, but you can definitely find it a little bit cheaper. You buy from like other sellers. You can also get on Amazon. On Amazon, it retails for about $80, $85, $86. I purchased mine for $86, but that was back in the day when it first came out. So yeah, we're looking at, depends if they charge you shipping. This is going to be about $10 to $15 more than this one. So price wise, and that's if you're not getting any sales on this. I've seen this on Amazon as low as like $55, $60, and that's a really good deal. You can also get it off of AliExpress, like I said, $40 or less if you have like a new user promo and all that. So price wise, this one blows this one out of the water. Round one goes to RG35XX for having the better price and sales and availability. Fight. Round two, display. So on paper, the screens are the same. Both have a 3.5-inch IPS OCA full laminated display with a resolution of 640 by 480p. None of them are touch, but specs only tell half the story. They don't cover anything about brightness, doesn't say anything about brightness, doesn't say anything about dimness, doesn't say anything about viewing angles, doesn't say anything about whether or not the screen is customizable. We're gonna look at these side by side and determine which is the better screen. Let's start with the Anbernic. You can see this screen, excellent viewing angles. No matter which way you look at it, it looks amazing. And then the brightness is very, very good. Very good dimness and excellent brightness. I've made sure to charge both of these to full capacity so we have a fair comparison. And this is peak brightness here already on the Miyoo Mini, and you can already tell it's just not as bright. And now let's check that dimness. Let's put the side-by-side dimness. That's as dim as it'll go. I would say the Miyoo Mini is slightly dimmer, but the RG35XX is much brighter than the Miyoo Mini. As far as viewing angles on the Miyoo Mini, also excellent. No matter which way you look at it, looks amazing. Crisp, no problems with refresh rate or anything like that on both these displays. So one thing that Miyoo Mini does have over the RG35XX is that the screen is customizable. So if we go over here into settings, you do have a display option, and you can change the luminescence, the hue, saturation, and the contrast. Although I never bother with these settings, it is nice to have. But overall, I still think this is a better panel in general, just from looking at it. And onto the thing that nobody mentions, that I will continue to mention, is the problem I have with this display. My biggest problem with this handheld, and that is the build quality. So my unit and my brother's unit both have the same problem, where the screen is clicky. And there's areas on the screen where you can click down on the screen, so it's not adhered properly to the device. It's much more noticeable if you're laying in bed and you have the handheld held over you. It feels like the screen is almost coming off. It's a lot more noticeable and more clicky. There's one very big thing I want to note about this device and why it loses points despite being a good screen. The screen is just not attached properly, and Miyoo has had a track record of having bad displays. This is my first Miyoo device, but I know they have a track record of not having good displays. You're kind of getting yourself into a screen lottery when you're buying handhelds from them. For better brightness and better build quality, because this one does not have the same clickiness, there's no screen bleed or anything. So round two, we're gonna give it to the 35XX for having better brightness and better build quality in the display.
Fight!
Round three, controls. So let's start with the Miyoo Mini this time. So the biggest outstanding feature about the Miyoo Mini's controls is really the D-pad. This D-pad is, to sum it up in one word, is just excellent. It's soft, it's wide, it just feels good. It's a very enjoyable experience. It's actually a little bit lower than this one, and it's just soft. It feels good to use. Action buttons are excellent as well. They're quiet. They have a good membrane response. Very good buttons. Start and select, they're a little bit tactile, but they're fine. I'm personally not a big fan of this menu button, but it's a menu button. It's not that important. And mine has a little nub on it. Oh, it's a little piece of plastic from the factory. It's a small thing. Now onto the shoulder buttons. We do have L2 and R2, a little bit higher position than the L and R. So these are gonna wrap around your hands a little bit better than the RG35XX over here, which have flat buttons. However, the biggest thing with this is really just how small this device is. There's not that much space to put your hands, so I feel like this is better suited to somebody with smaller hands. Although it's a very enjoyable experience to use it, and these little shoulder buttons, like as much as this is better, it's not that much better than using this, honestly. Volume feels a little bit crappy. And then my biggest issue with the Miyoo Mini Plus's buttons is actually this power button. I'm not sure if it's just my unit, but mine provides like next to no feedback. So there's almost like no click to it. It's really a small thing, but it is a power button. You kind of need some feedback. It's a small thing, but main controls, excellent. ABXY, the D-pad, and the shoulder buttons are pretty excellent. Now moving on to the RG35XX. Now, these action buttons are just as good as these action buttons. I love them, they're perfect. And then the D-pad. The D-pad on this one is a little bit more stiff. It's also a little sharper. Some people may prefer this. It's also a little bit less accurate than this D-pad, where in this D-pad you will get some false input from time to time, which is kind of annoying. However, every other button on the 35XX is better than the Miyoo Mini. From the power button to the volume buttons to even the menu button, it just feels so much better to use than it does to use on the Miyoo Mini Plus. So D-pad is much better on the Miyoo Mini. This is definitely serviceable, but every other button, the menu button, the start select, the volume rocker is bigger, and it has a more tactile feed, and it has a more tactile button response. And then the biggest thing is this thing has a reset button, where this one does not have a reset button whatsoever. So if anything goes wrong with this device, you do not have a way to easily reset the device. What you'd have to do is you'd have to take the battery out and disconnect it and then plug it back in, and that's not the easiest task on this device. Versus this, if anything goes wrong, I could just press this reset button right here and it reboots the device just like that. Every retro emulator needs a reset button. If you put them side by side, although this one has a better D-pad, the action buttons to me are exactly the same. Everything else is better on the 35XX. The menu button, the start and select, the volume buttons, the power button, and of course this one has a reset and this one doesn't. So for this, we're awarding another point to the 35XX.
Fight!
Round 4, audio. So both these handhelds have a mono speaker in the corner and a 3.5mm headphone jack. So on paper, they're exactly the same, but just like I said before, specs don't tell the whole truth. So we're doing a quick sound test. We're using this game, Ghosts and Goblins, for the GBC. Start with the Miyoo Mini first. Gonna put this on max volume. So one cool thing about the Miyoo Mini is that you can actually mute. So you press the sensor, you can mute. And that's unique to this device. Okay. Now let's do the RG35XX. You heard the loudspeaker. It gets decently loud. It's not crazy distorted either. So let's put the volume here all the way up. So after the sound test, you can tell the Miyoo Mini is slightly louder, but it's more distorted. And that's because you can actually adjust the volume with Onion OS by pressing select and the shoulders. So I have had to like artificially increase the volume using this. However, just using raw audio, the RG35XX is louder. And at peak loudness, at peak volume, it's a lot clearer than it is on the Miyoo Mini. I don't know if you can tell that from the sound test, but if I had to pick audio-wise from the mono speaker, I'd go with the RG35XX. And now, the big one, the headphone jack. Nobody covers the headphone jack. There's no testing done for it. But I went ahead and I've tested both of these. And this is what I found. The Miyoo Mini, for some reason, does not get loud enough through the headphone jack. I have some headphones plugged into the Miyoo Mini, and I want you to see this is at max volume. I'm going to go ahead and put the audio coming out of these headphones into the microphone of my camera so you guys can hear this. Okay, that's the Miyoo Mini, right? Let's go ahead and mute that. Or you can hear how loud it is. You can hear how loud it is on the speaker. Now the 35XX, ready? Same thing, here we go. So as you can see, out of both headphone jacks, for some reason, the Miyoo Mini's headphone jack just doesn't get loud at all. I don't know what's the issue with that. I don't know if it's my specific pair of headphones. I've tried it with multiple headphones. It's the same thing. So I don't know if it's like an amplifier issue. I can't even increase the volume through software. So if you're a headphone user and you like headphones on these things, you like to use this thing for things other than just playing games, like you like to listen to music, maybe you have a music player or you watch videos and you want to use it headphones, this device, it just doesn't get loud enough, especially if you'd like to take these things to, like, I don't know, to work and you work in like a noisy environment, or maybe if your living situation, you have kids and they're always running around and making too much noise and you like to use headphones, this device will not get loud enough through the 3.5mm headphone jack. And I want to make that a big note, because that's why this loses in the sound test and loses in the sound category for that specific reason. Because from the speaker itself, the mono speaker, they're about the same. You know, maybe this one gets a little bit louder, but it's not that significant to really give it a point. But the headphone jack, that's a big deal. That is part of the sound, and I got to give it to the RG35XX again. So round 4, RG35XX.
Fight.
Round 5, performance. So spec wise, we're looking at the CPU, the GPU, the RAM for this category. And that's where these handhelds really differentiate themselves. So this one just has a CPU, and this one has a CPU and a GPU, and about double the RAM. This has 128 megabytes of RAM. This one has 256. And on screen I have one game. This is Tekken 3 for the PlayStation 1. And you can really see the screen difference here in this game, just how much brighter this display is on this device. So I'm gonna play them both, and maybe you guys can catch some sort of difference between the two. I think realistically, if you're playing games, you're probably not going to notice too much of a difference for what these devices are capable of. But I will demo some gameplay so you guys can watch. Okay, so you saw that one. Now let's see it, the same exact game, same exact fighter, this time on the RG35XX. So we've seen these two games, and I really can't tell the difference. There's some graphical issues here and there I noticed on this one, and there was like a little bit of slowdown in both here and there. But I mean, they're perfectly playable. Both of them are perfectly playable. You might notice it more in like a more heavy 3D game, but for the systems you want to play up to PS1, this one's perfectly fine. This is also perfectly fine. However, on paper, spec wise and just capability wise, if you do get Batocera, you can play N64 on this. Not very well, but it can do it. So just for a little bit better specs, I have to give it to the RG35XX once again in the performance category. So round 5, RG35XX.
Fight.
Round 6, battery life. So this is going to be a quick round. Look on the back of this. We have a 3000 milliamp hour battery, and the battery is actually accessible. So if we open this up, you'll see there's our battery. 3000 milliamp hours, and it's easily accessible. There's a little wire here, it connects, and that's good to go. If you want to swap this out, it is very easy. No tools necessary whatsoever. And I can say you probably get around 7 hours of battery life with this one. And this one, this is the version 2, so this has a 26. So if I peel off the sticker on this, this is the version 2, and it has a 2600 milliamp hour battery. And I'd say I get about 6 hours of game time on this. And then if you see here, there's no back compartment, so it's not as easy as accessible. And when you take this off, it's just more annoying. You have to be careful with the shoulder buttons and stuff like that. So battery life easily goes to Miyoo Mini. Easily. And having an accessible battery compartment, and just for having a bigger battery. Charging, also I wanted to mention, charging is exactly the same on both, so there's no difference there. So our first win for the Miyoo Mini Plus in battery. I did want to mention the difference in battery size is not that big. Where it really comes down to is how much the device draws from the battery, how efficient the processor is, and stuff like that. So yes, the battery size does matter, but it's also the chip it runs. So this one has a slightly slower chip, so that does have some effect on it.
Fight.
Round 7, build quality. Now, of these two devices, which one feels more premium? Let's start with this one. This has a nice matte feeling to the outside. It's made of a hard plastic. Definitely doesn't feel cheap. Doesn't smell bad either. And it has a good feel to it. This one does feel slightly more solid. However, my issue with this one is this feels very fragile, in the sense that I feel like if you drop this one time, the screen's breaking. And I also mentioned before, as I mentioned before, the screen is clicky. It's even more noticeable now that I've had the device on for a little while, and I feel like it's warmed up the adhesive wherever it is, and now it's definitely a lot more clicky. And then on top of that, there's just like some quality issues. Like I have a little nub on this thing, and then my power button is not, it doesn't provide like any feedback whatsoever. So build quality, as much as people say it's great, I think it's okay from Miyoo. These buttons are good, all the face buttons are good. Now onto Anbernic, and I think Anbernic just has better build quality in general. Their power button has a better feedback. One thing I did want to note is the LED indicator on this is better, just because it's a little bit brighter. On this one it's super dim and you can't really see it that well while it's on, but the screen is intact. It doesn't click whatsoever. The device feels solid. There is this rattling, but I mean that doesn't really matter. The buttons are a little bit loose. That doesn't really matter too much to me. I would take this over this clicky screen over here. Can you hear that? That is a screen hitting against the bottom. So yeah, I'll take this rattliness, which is not really a big deal. It's just that the way the buttons are designed, it's not actually an issue. It does feel a little bit more heavy duty. Like if I drop this on the corner, I don't feel like the screen's gonna break as easy as something like this. The screen on this is like really right up to the edge, and I feel like this device is extremely fragile. Hold up. So here, I want to show you exactly what I mean about this screen being clicky. I put this against the screen. So I want you to see this. Look at this. You can see the screen moves on the device and it's not properly attached. And that's not, I'm not applying any pressure like that, versus this one. There's no wiggle whatsoever. Go over here. This screen is solid. So I mean, like, this really worries me and just kind of makes me think about the longevity of this device and how long it's gonna last. Like, how long is this gonna, maybe let's say 6 months down the line, is the screen gonna come off? You know, I'm gonna put something on screen and I'm just gonna show you some of the horror stories I've seen online of this device, of people's screens literally falling off, coming off the backlight and all that. So build quality control, is definitely a lot worse on the Miyoo Mini. I don't care what anybody says. I have it. I experienced it firsthand. Look at this. You can see that moving. That's solid. So for the simple fact that this screen is just clicky, build quality, RG35XX. Now at this point, we are 7 rounds in, and RG35XX is already winning by a long shot. Even if the Miyoo wins the next 3, there's just no chance for it. But we're gonna continue the video anyway. I want you to see the next parts.
Fight!
So round 8, features. Let's get the elephant out of the room. This thing has Wi-Fi, and this thing has HDMI out. That's basically the biggest difference. This one also has a real-time clock, and you can throttle the CPU. Of those 2 features, you have to decide for yourself what's more important. HDMI out is really an underappreciated feature. When you put this on the big screen and you start playing all your games on the big screen, you'll grow to love HDMI out. This is something I'm still playing with. It's really a good time. Versus Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi just enables this device to just do so much things so easy at the click of a button. For example, on this device, we do have over-the-air updates. So you can update your system literally with the click of a button, and it takes 2 seconds. You can also scrape art. You can also have retro achievements. You can also do net play, so you can play with your friends, etc, etc, etc. There's so much things that you can do with Wi-Fi. You can transfer files without having to take the SD card out, so you can load this up with games over the internet. So many things with Wi-Fi. But all these things are like nice to have things. Versus this is just a better gameplay experience. So if you get tired of the screen, you can just play on the TV, which is a great time. Obviously, not every custom firmware supports HDMI out. You want to be using like either a Garlic OS or the stock operating system, but HDMI out is really a standout feature and something that really missing from this one. I'm gonna leave this round to you guys. You guys decide who wins this round, because for some people, HDMI out is so much better than Wi-Fi. A lot of people don't even use the Wi-Fi. And then for other people, they can't live without the Wi-Fi. They need their retro achievements. They need over-the-air updates. They need to be able to scrape box art really easy. So I'm not going to give a point in this round. Another section I want to cover is storage. Although it's not the biggest deal, I'm not going to give it its own round, but this has two card slots, and in general this is just better, where this one just has one single slot at the bottom, and it has some internal memory, but it's like very small. For simplicity, one SD card is better, but in general 2 cards is better, because then you could just swap your OS anytime you want. You can separate your games. If you ever have an issue, you can swap it out. So in general, storage wise, RG35XX. So as far as features go, that's it.
Fight!
So round 9, software. And this is really where the Miyoo Mini really starts to shine. This thing has one of the best custom firmwares available for any retro handheld on the market. It's really the main reason I picked this up in the first place, was to experience Onion OS and how good it really is. Let me just show you one small feature. Look at this. Check this out. This thing can read books. Not only that, it's got a music player, it's got a video player. Check this out. I have like 2 seasons of a regular show on here. Look at this.
Dude, I'm open, dude! Go along, dude. Touchdown, suck faces! Hey, you two! Quit fooling around. We're having an emergency meeting. Oh, what? Outside now.
Now this is just like a super cool feature. The fact that you can even watch TV on this thing is just amazing, and it's actually really well done. Now that's not to say that you can't get a video player on this. It's just the process of getting it onto it is a little bit more annoying than it is on Onion OS. Onion OS start to finish is just so easy to install. It's literally drag and drop, and it's like the most quality operating system I've ever used. It has over-the-air update. It has PDF reader. You can realistically, you can probably read manga on this if you really wanted to. It has a game switcher. It has that feature where you can quick resume, quick shutdown. It has RetroArch. You can easily change your logo, your boot logo on this. You can easily change your theme. Everything is like one click. You can change anything on the Miyoo Mini. Check this out. Let's say I like this Mega Man right here. It's gonna show me what it actually looks like. Press A to confirm. And it's gonna flash it. Flashing done, press any to return. And now we can just give it a second. And now I'm gonna reboot the device so you can see the changes have been made. And this isn't even the latest version. The latest version has even more features. You can trade Pokemon, you can have battles, and there it is. The new boot logo, that easy, you can change it. So for like, just like the end user, Onion OS is just amazing. It really is. Like, hands down, one of the best. It's up there next to like ArcOS, next to Anbernic. Those are really good custom firmware. And you just have so many things you can do. This thing has a simulated real-time clock. It has this thing right here where you can pick a random game as well. Helps you if you can't decide what to play. The whole interface as well is just beautiful, very easy to use. You can scrape box art super easy. You can have a look at this, and it's just clean, and it just works, you know. It has a search functionality. It's just a fully fledged, really good operating system, and for this reason, software hands down is amazing on the Miyoo Mini. And like hardware wise, I'm not impressed with the Miyoo Mini, but software wise, because of Onion OS, it's just amazing. Onion OS is what really makes this device what it is. Without Onion OS, I wouldn't even consider this device. I'm gonna go ahead and compare it to my favorite operating system on this thing. So yeah, this is my favorite operating system for this device. This is called MinUI, and the version on this handheld on the 35XX is probably the most polished version. It's just super clean. It's extremely easy to navigate. It boots up in 2 seconds, and you have some nice things in here, like collections. You can make custom collections. So you have things like, I can put the whole Legend of Zelda series together in here. Like, yeah, it is very minimal, but there's benefits to that. You know, there's no distractions. It makes it easy to boot up. It's easy to shut down, and all the important features are here. So let me show you something real quick. Let's say I want to play something in the Kirby series. Let's go with Kirby Star Tracker. Now this is a Game Boy game, and look at this. I can easily change palettes, right? And every single menu, when you press the menu button, you don't have to memorize shortcuts. Everything is just done with the menu button. It's like the best user experience. You don't have to memorize, like on this, you have to memorize a bunch of shortcuts, like menu plus R2 is save, menu plus L2 is load, menu plus X is get into the RetroArch menu plus A is like something else, menu plus start is pause. On this, you don't have none of that. The only one you have is really the brightness control, and that's it. You don't have to memorize anything else. And then in here you have save, load, and then you have all your options in here. So it's so much cleaner and so much easier to use, like as an end user. I love MinUI, absolutely love MinUI. And this also has a quick resume. So here I have Tetris. I'm gonna play a little bit. Okay, now let's say I got to go back to work, right? Just gonna press and hold this. Quick save created, powering off. Now it's fully turned off. And boom, we're right back where we left off. So that's an amazing feature. And it's just features like that that make MinUI just so fun and good to use. I love the user interface. I love that everything's done through the menu button. I just love it for what it is. I love how clean it is. I love how simple it is. And it just lets you play your games. The software really is personal preference, and of course there's other operating systems. This one has way more operating systems than this one. You also have Batocera on this. You have Garlic OS. You have the stock. This one you also have the stock. So it really comes down to what is important to you and how you like to use your device. Do you like a lot of features? Do you like something a lot more simple? And that's where you kind of draw the line. But for me, I love MinUI, but I think for most people, Onion OS is amazing. And for that, I definitely have to give the software, this round, software is definitely gonna go to the Miyoo Mini Plus. Miyoo Mini Plus.
Fight!
Round 10, Pocketability and Ergonomics. I want to put these two together because they kind of go hand in hand. The way I'm going to judge this is what I think is best for most people. So if we're looking at these, this is about 4 inches and a quarter, and this one is about almost 4 3/4. So it's really not that different. We got 3 inches and 1/8 versus about the same. They're not that different if you put them side by side. You know, the Miyoo Mini is a little bit thicker and it's a little bit shorter. And then obviously you got to take into consideration the shoulders. These come out a little bit, so they do get caught in your pocket a little bit. I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Okay, so let's do the Miyoo Mini first. Okay, it's a little bit smaller, and I could just slide it right in, right? Nothing really gets caught, and it falls right there. It's really small, so it fits really in any pocket. In my back pocket if I want to. I really wouldn't do that because I don't want to sit on it, but it fits really well. And again, it just slides in, no problem. And then here's the RG35XX. So same thing. This one does get caught a little bit because of the shoulder buttons. So you kind of have to, like, you know, position it. But is it that serious? I don't think so. Put it in your back pocket, same thing. This one you just gotta make a little bit more room for it to fall in. But it's just, the shoulder button thing is not really a big issue. Now, as for ergonomics and like overall comfort, I can't lie to you and tell you that if I see these both on my desk, I will always grab the RG35XX. Just that extra space on the bottom really makes a world of a difference on just the comfort of this device versus this. The way you have to hold this is a little bit different. It's a little bit more cramped. And then I always feel like I accidentally press these shoulder buttons because of like just the position of how you have to hold this thing. You end up kind of having to play it like kind of claw because it's so small. Versus like this is just way more comfortable. Even the position of where the shoulder buttons are, it just feels right. And I think Anbernic just spent more time on the ergonomics of this handheld. So overall, I think for most people, the RG35XX is going to be better, even for a child, just because of this extra space down here. And then the pocketability factor, like people, I saw some guy's review and he was talking about how, he's like, oh, the RG35XX, because it has this thing, it rocks back and forth. But like, look at this. This rocks back and forth just as much. Like, does this sit a little bit more flat? Yes. You look at these from the side. So if you look at these from the side, I've kind of lowered the camera so you can see it kind of like at a flat level. It is definitely more flat, but does that mean that the device is not gonna rock? Absolutely not. They both rock. Maybe one a little bit more than the other, but that really doesn't make it that much of a difference. So when it comes to Pocketability and Ergonomics, they are both just as portable as each other. They're both a good size that you can basically throw them in your pocket and not really have to worry about them. You don't really need a case for either of them. So really it does come down to comfort and like the ergonomics. And I'm gonna have to give it to the RG35XX just for being slightly bigger and just slightly more comfortable. It really does make a big difference. So this round's gonna go to RG35XX. So one last thing, it's technically not a round because it's really cosmetic, but I do want to talk about the color options you have. On the RG35XX, you do get 3 colorways. You get this DMG gray, which I think looks the best, and then you have a atomic purple and a clear option. And then on the Miyoo Mini, you have this white shell with like SNES Skittle action buttons. You also have a transparent black with the same buttons, and you have an atomic purple with purple buttons, and you have a DMG gray just like this, but it's like slightly different. In my opinion, I think the color options on the Miyoo Mini are slightly better. I haven't seen every single color in person on the RG35XX. I really do love this one. I think just the color options in general are better on the Miyoo Mini. That is a small win for the Miyoo Mini. And here's our conclusion. We have 9 points in general. I did leave out features. You guys can vote for features, but it's not like it really matters. Is Wi-Fi really that much better than HDMI? I think that's pretty subjective. So I think the winner is clear. The RG35XX is objectively much better than the Miyoo Mini Plus. As you can see, it has a better price. It has a better display. It has better controls, it has better audio, it has better performance. The Miyoo Mini has better battery life, slightly. It has better build quality, and I think it's just more comfortable. Despite it not having Wi-Fi, despite it not having Onion OS, I think this handheld is still better than this one. And if I see both of them, the one I will always grab is my RG35XX. So this is where I'm probably gonna piss off the entire Miyoo Mini community. So yeah, that's going to conclude this fight. As you can see, the RG35XX is the clear winner. It is superior to the Miyoo Mini Plus in basically every aspect. I just want to say, if you already have a Miyoo Mini Plus, just enjoy it for what it is. I don't want you to take away from just playing, you know. They are both excellent handhelds. At the end of the day, they're very popular for a reason. They're both very good. And you may feel differently. You may feel that the Miyoo Mini's Wi-Fi and Onion OS is superior to everything the RG35XX has to offer. And I think objectively, the RG35XX is better for most people. And that is our first winner of Retro Arena. Congratulations to the RG35XX. I think Anbernic did an excellent job. And I want to say, at the time of filming this video, the RG35XX Plus is out, and that's superior to both of these devices. However, we still don't have custom firmware for that. But I want to point out that it's out there, you know. I will provide links in the description below for both of these handhelds. If I may have swayed you, maybe you think Onion OS is just so much better, you can still pick up the Miyoo Mini. The choice is really yours. So yeah, guys, I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think of this, our first fight on Retro Arena. What did you think? Do you feel the fight was rigged? Who else do you want to see fight? Do you want to see some different handhelds on this video series? Do you guys feel differently? Do you think the Miyoo Mini is way better? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a discussion. If you enjoyed this video, definitely consider dropping a like. Subscribe for more content like this. I'm trying to make a video or 2 every week. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.